Sorry, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Alright, buddies. Let's fucking rock and roll. Hello, ballers and a brofist to you all. You get 2 today because I wasn't here yesterday. I wasn't here, but I was. I was here. Yes, I was. I was here. You guys know I was here. Those of you who tuned in on time. Yeah, I was here. I was here. And then I got smacked in the eye. My eye is fine, okay? I iced it up the only way I knew how. I was kind of in an emergency situation. I kind of thought, after looking at myself in the stream, right? The best mirror all around is a 1080p cam. Oh, that's first world for you. I don't have a mirror. I have a 1080p cam. I could see my eye starting to cover my actual eyeball. That was not cool. So I turned the stream off and I instantly applied the one soothing God's gift. An ice cold can of Monster. Straight to my eye! It was the only thing I had to hand was an ice cold can of Monster. I was like, oh, damn, that feels good. Oh, yeah. Oh, good shit. Managed to make it downstairs where I got some ice cold vegetables and stuck them straight on my head. Oh, it was awesome. And the swelling did go down after about an hour or so. The swelling went away. It's just really, really sore. What happened, you might ask, right? It's the plumbers came again. The infamous plumbers who constantly come to my house. The radiator fell off the wall downstairs. I say fell. It is the radiator that Ben leans on when somebody's outside. He does this sort of pose, like a lion, on the radiator. That radiator fell off the wall. I have no idea how. I really don't, Mr. Maintenance people. The radiator's come off the wall. It must be something to do with when you flushed out the system. It must have weakened its structural integrity. Come and fix it for free, right? Okay? So they did. As usual, they turn up 5 minutes before the daily. I was streaming quite a lot yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. I was streaming quite a lot yesterday. I was streaming, editing the big Monday video on a Tuesday. The big, me ranting about Muru. Muru annoyed me, but we'll talk about that shortly. So I was streaming up until about 4:30, and the show starts at 5. So I said, hey, I'm going to swap PCs, and then we're going to go ahead with the daily. And then as soon as I turned my PC off, of course the plumbers arrived. They were like, hey, we're here. I'm like, awesome. That's really good news. I left them downstairs. I was like, okay, do what you've got to do. I've got a live show to do, so I will be down. And if you're finished before I finish Seption, then just let yourselves out. I've met them before. I was like, just let yourselves out. Awesome sauce. No big problem. But of course, Ben is kind of a problem. These guys were going to be drilling into the wall. That would drive Ben crazy and disrupt the show in an untimely manner. Didn't want that to happen, so I brought Ben up here. I had about 10 minutes before the daily started, and then they started drilling. And he started having an epileptic fit to get down and destroy the evildoers. He wanted to destroy the drillers. He wanted to rip them a new asshole. So I was sat on this couch with him right here, and I was like, it's okay, and he's like sat across my chest. I'm like, it's fine, mate, don't worry about it, it's gonna be cool. Then he started freaking out, and he headbutted me so fucking hard, right on my eye socket bone. Right on the bone, and instantly the pain was overwhelming. Like I had really been hit by an iron bar. It was so painful. It even knocked him for 6. He was like, ooh. I was like, oh my god, this is so painful. I was crouched over like this. I thought, what the fuck is going on? My god. I instantly got a headache. I was just out for the count. So I turned the stream on. I was like, dudes, I've hurt my eye. And I could see my eye growing over my eyeball. I was like, oh man, this is bad. I'm going to sort it out. I went downstairs. The plumbers had just finished. They were like, you okay? Because I had this giant eye and a monster can strapped to my head. I was like, yeah, the dog just caught me in the eye. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll see you later. And that was it. Emma, 0 fucks given. Didn't give a shit. Like, she came home. I was streaming some wonderful fucking StarCraft 2 action on my telly box. Lay on the couch, pack of peas, right on the eye. What are we having for dinner? She didn't even ask me about it. She was like, what are we having for dinner? I'm like, she's like, yeah, whatever. What are we having for dinner? I was like, oh, well, we'll just get on with our day, shall we? But my eye is fucking fine. My eye is awesome. It's just really sore. So I try not to touch that bone, and then things will be okay. Couple of reminders. 1, don't order any t-shirts and stuff until January 3rd. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. Look at me being the good guy. Don't want your money. Don't do that. Don't order anything because it won't arrive before Christmas. it won't arrive until January, early January. So don't do that. The next orders we're sending out is January 3rd. So don't order anything. I'm sorry. If you wanted to order it and get paid just before Christmas and stuff like that, really sorry. Can't do anything about it. So don't send money to me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not for t-shirts and stuff anyway. Don't do it. Save it till January. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year. Awesome. On Saturday is, of course, Web Show weekend. So get your brofists in. It's the final one before Christmas. I think we'll do the Christmassy themed one in between Christmas and New Year. That kind of makes sense. We did a New Year's show last year and it was really popular. You guys had a great time. We might even get some beers in. We haven't done a drunken web show for a long time. The original web show was very drunken. We always drank beer. We haven't done that for a while. We kind of changed to Monsters, which was an Amber Nectar for a long ass time. But I will speak to Ghost to see if we can organise a very drunken New Year's web show. And talk about WoW over the last year, what we've been doing, all that kind of stuff, and just have some great fun with you guys. I kind of wanted to do a drinking game, but I'm not sure how that will work. It might end up with just me and Ghost being absolutely hammered and you guys not taking part. And therefore, it'll just descend into chaos, and you guys just laughing. I want to be drunk. Goes to Proves. We might. Oh, I don't say the journey that much though, but I have an idea for a drinking game and maybe some game challenges. I kind of think that maybe we should just for New Year's celebration of Christmas. We've worked really hard this year and still working really hard, especially on the Way of the Warrior 2. I am going to be filming the Way of the Warrior 2. Pretty much tomorrow and Friday. I've already produced the videos that will go out on Thursday and Friday. There's nothing tonight, as normal, after the big Monday show. So there's nothing tonight, but the Demonology Warlock video is coming out tomorrow, which is a lot of fun actually. I had great fun playing the Demonology Warlock. And the World of Vlogs Part 3, Raid Leader aspects of World of Vlogs, which is cool. That's coming out on Friday. That's going to be a Friday video. And then web show on Saturday, okay? So lots of stuff coming along like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. So tomorrow I'm just going to be filming pretty much all day. Try not to, you know, whisper me too much. I will say things in Stark. I might set up a live stream from this PC so I can communicate with you guys if there's any multiple roles to take part in. But I'm particularly looking for a couple of people from Stark. They know who they are. They've already whispered me. But if you're in Stark Industries on Sylvanas, there may be a role for you tomorrow with some extras and crowd filling, that kind of thing going on. So I'll be filming tomorrow all day EU times, which will be from like 9 AM upwards till about 3 PM on Thursday and Saturday. So that should be pretty cool. So please send your brofists in, preachgaming@gmail.com for Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you there. And we're wishing you a happy Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we've got the Christmas competition. I think we're giving away WoW Game Time. Ooh, that's going to be on the big Christmas show, which is going to be for your transmogs, the best of class transmogs. I've managed to get hold of through a wonderful, wonderful person I know who is a GM at Blizzard. By GM, I do not mean a major developer, somebody who works in the GM capacity, one of those people you speak to, who, you know, when you accidentally delete your gear or you buy the wrong thing from the vendor, one of those people. They've managed to acquire me some WoW Game Time. So we should be able some prizes for you guys on the Christmas show. It should be awesome, but we'll talk more about that on Saturday. Let's move on to WoW news, because it's been a fucking wonderful, wonderful couple of days. Firstly, a big shout out to Convert to Raid, the Convert to Raid podcast. Big shout out to them. I've been a guest on their show a couple of times now. Wonderful fucking guys. Work really hard actually. They're very professional. They do everything bang on. But they got to interview one of the devs from Blizzard, which is fucking kick ass for those guys. They also gave me a shout out as well to World of Vlogs videos. So that's fucking awesome. So big shout out to them. They're doing really well. I hope they continue to grow, because they're fucking cool guys and I love being on their show. It's fucking totally awesome. It's a great experience to be asked questions about WoW. It's wonderful. I ask you guys to ask me questions, but to do it on the spot, always great fun. So a big shout out to them. You can check them out at converttoraid.com. I really recommend you do so. They do a weekly podcast and it's always a lot of fun. It's always really, really professionally made as well, which I think is really important. Also, some of you were sending me messages. I was being too harsh in my replies to YouTube comments. Allow me to give you the #1 rule of Preach Gaming. It was a rule me and Ghost established quite a long time ago. 0 fucks will be given in licking ass to anybody at all. We don't give a shit. If you are an asshole to us in any fashion, we will be an asshole back. You know why? Because I do not expect anybody to believe they are entitled to tell me what to do. I really do not believe that. I think that goes on far too much. So, trolls stole my video, and therefore I destroyed them. Sad face. I really don't care. I really don't care. It's just the way it is. If you want to post nasty comments to me, I will fire it straight back at you. I will, and I will probably win. Not to be egotistical, but I probably will. So, awesome. Moving on. WoW news. So yeah, Convert to Raid got to speak to some of the Blizz devs, which is cool. I recommend you go and check that out. But there is some really interesting news going on. I was quite impressed with how many of you discussed the spell bloat on the previous daily. You guys had some really good input for that, and as that was the daily from 2 days ago, lots of good comments and feedback on there as well. You guys did an awesome job saying, hey, what about this, what about that? Talking about, yes, a lot of spells seem to marry up. One of the points that was brought up, which is true, is a lot of stuff is developed around PvP, and I look at the PvE side of things. That is entirely true, entirely accurate. I focus more on the PvE. The reason I don't focus as much on PvP, although easily it's a more popular topic, is because PvP in WoW is not balanced. If PvP in WoW was balanced, I would gladly throw myself into it hand and foot. I would be there. I would be involved. I would love to do that. If it was competitive and balanced, I would gladly take part. But it is not. Never will be, I don't think. Therefore, I do not care much for it at all. In fact, I see it as a very sore point to the PvE players, because there are a lot of changes that go on, including changing Taste for Blood for 1 stack. Really? Taste for Blood's now 1 stack? On the Warriors. Because of PvP, all gets changed and mixed up, and we lose a lot of the fun aspects. There was something really great in PvE when you got 5 stacks of Taste for Blood. It was great fucking fun, because you knew you were going to hit this boss really fucking hard. And we don't get to do that anymore because of PvP. And PvP tends to piss me off a lot in the fact that we get changed in a PvE environment because of PvP. That's why I don't do it. So yeah, Taste for Blood has been changed to now only generate 1 stack in PvP. Be aware of that. It still goes to 3 in PvE. In PvP, it does 1. That's the kind of change I want to see. I want to see that. That makes total sense, that it works a different way in PvP. That completely is right up my street. That's wonderful. Why doesn't the spell just do something different in PvP? Hits less, does something slightly different. Wonderful idea. Stop fucking over PvE because of PvP. I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. But it's still a balancing idea for Warriors. Warriors was still very powerful and still are. So a lot of people will be going, oh my god, we're nerfed to the ground. You're not. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. You're going to be more than fine. Don't worry about it. So mages were changed again. Blah, 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 blah. Boring, boring, boring. What was interesting is, okay, they had a bit of a discussion about PvE, which obviously I'm interested in, right? Yeah! PvE is fucking awesome. You don't believe me? Watch any of the top guilds kill a LEN boss, and then tell me you don't want to be a part of that. Do you want to know the best video ever made in WoW, for me, is Paragon versus the Lich King 25 Heroic. If you've never seen that video, it's in 3 parts. I suggest you watch it, because it's so beautiful. I cannot explain. It's awesome. This is good news for me, right? I'm going to start on a high and then I'm going to finish on a low. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you up high and I'm going to bring you down low. Some of you might think this is actually a bad change. I don't. They are no longer going to do what has previously been called the catch-up system. Yay! A new tier of raiding is out. Alright! Now you can instantly skip all the previous raid content and move straight up to the new stuff. We saw it all the way through Cataclysm. Firelands is released. You can skip all the other content. Oh, Dragon Soul's here. You can skip Firelands and you can skip tier 11. Doesn't matter. You can just instantly get back up to that gear level. They are preventing that from happening. Who said that would be a good idea? I don't know. I just thought maybe we should stick to the same system where all the old content became obsolete. Wasn't me. Oh, play that funky music, white boy. That's me. Yeah, it was fucking awesome. They said they're no longer going to fucking do that. This is an interesting change and somewhat worthy of discussion. They said, are you going back to the old model where you have to progress linearly through the raids to release, from release to the end of the current expansion? That's the plan. So they're getting back to it. They're saying, look, we want to go back to that model. We do. We want to go back there. We have the older Raid Finder tiers now to provide the necessary gear. So what they're not going to do is say, oh, well, the new content's out. Let's drop the Raid Finder item level restrictions so everybody can get through it. They're not going to do that anymore. What they're going to say is, look, the Raid Finder is still there, but you're going to have to progress through that to get to the current gear level. This is a move in the right direction. It really, really is, and a lot of people are going to be pissed by this because this is going to create only one end game, which is the Divide. Now, the Divide existed in Vanilla and existed in TBC, and in Wrath of the Lich King, the Divide was scrapped. They didn't want the Divide anymore. That was kind of a bad move for a number of reasons. What is the Divide? Raiders with current content being supremely overgeared compared to a fresh level 90. That's the Divide, okay? It's the divide between capping and being where the current gear level is at its latest expansion. That's the Divide. That's what exists. Lots of people hated the Divide. They detested it. They really didn't like it. It's not fair for the people who have raided consistently or have worked their way through the Raid Finder to be so far ahead compared to me who's just capped to level 90. On the face of it, the Divide is a bad thing. On the very, very face of it. However, what does the Divide do? See if anybody in the chat can get this. What does the Divide do without actually appearing to do it? The Divide does something which is so much better for the game that it is unfucking believable. The Divide works in a way that people don't see on the face of it. It gives you a journey. Oh, it motivates. It inspires. It gives you drive. And more importantly, it gives you something to be working towards that's not a fucking reputation or a daily. That's what it does. It gives you a path to go on. Now, this path isn't exactly where we want to be. This path is purely gear related, okay? This is just a gear related path. There'll still be the opportunity to have a friend join a guild and get very quickly geared. That always existed. That's fine. There's nothing big deal with that. What we don't want to do, and it's very bad for the game, is you cap. Your friend caps, and he's instantly bypassed so much amazing content. Let's be honest, tier 14, sorry. Tier 14 is very good content. It is. It's great raid content. It really is. The Mogashan Vaults is a great raid. Heart of Fear is a great raid, and the Terrace is okay. The last boss is certainly fucking good, well designed. The other boss is not too great, but in general, fucking really good content that should not be bypassed. It really saddens me that things like Blackwing Descent, Throne of the Four Winds, the Twilight Citadel, and Firelands were just bypassed by so many people, because there is some wonderful encounters to be had there. Good, challenging content that should really be looked into by new players. They shouldn't go straight to Dragon Soul, especially if the Dragon Soul is not that great an instance. That's really bad. So now you've got a path. We're almost there. They're going to have to do this in stages. We said this, what, like 20 dailies ago? They cannot just revert to the old system. We can't do that. We know that, right? We're common sense people. They cannot just go back to the way it was and say, oh, well, now it works like this. That won't work. We can't just abolish LFR. We can't just do that. Too many people, too much of a change is very dangerous. Sudden change is really, really dangerous. Gradual changes are a good thing. Take our time. Maybe we need the whole Mists of Pandaria to work back towards another model. Maybe we need Mists of Pandaria in half the next expansion to get to where we want to be. Long-term goals are really handy, and Blizzard is doing this. This is wonderful. This is fucking magnificent. But they're reintroducing the Divide. Now, hopefully they will do it so subtly that it isn't going to hurt the players who don't understand why Divide is good in the first place. It is going to mean a return of serious elitism. That's going to come back. That's annoying. It's got to be said. That is fucking annoying. Serious elitists are going to come back. But at least maybe the elitists now will have a basis. There's nothing worse than an elitist who's wearing Raid Finder gear. That's just fucking embarrassing. But maybe this elitism will return. But I actually think for younger players, this is what I care about, is the younger players coming into the game. Because I'm pretty sure we're going to be moving on from World of Warcraft in the next easily 7 months, something like that. Maybe 12 months, depending on how good Project Titan is. I can see most of the older players are just going to start disappearing. That's okay, that's fine. So we're going to see this gradual change back to the Divide, which is, it's good, man. It's good. I really like it. It's like, oh, you want to raid this? You're not quite ready for that. That is a fucking big change when someone says you are not quite ready for that, and you know it. That's a big difference to how we play these days. It's a big difference to what we had in Cataclysm. You aren't quite ready for that. Meant you hadn't done your 5-man heroics, pretty much, right? There wasn't much difference. You haven't done your 5-man content. Now we're actually talking previous raid tiers. You aren't quite ready for this. You haven't done your tier 14 content yet. You're not quite ready for this. You need to move up. There's a couple of downbacks to this. One, drawbacks. There's a couple of the elitists are going to return. Some players are going to be very, very put out that they can't instantly jump to the end because they paid their $10, right? That's going to come back as well. That's why Raid Finder's kind of there to alleviate that. So we're in a good position to allow this to happen. But the main problem that's going to come from this, and be ready for this, especially if you are in a progressing guild. I know there's a huge variety of people who watch this show. There's a lot of people from the top-end guilds, and a lot of people from the mid-levels and the bottom-level guilds. Your mid-level guilds, I'm talking to you right now. You are going to get pillaged. This is going to start happening much, much more. They are going to be poaching your best players because they need people who are up to spec in decent gear, and they're going to start taking them from you. One of the big problems that happened through TBC and Vanilla was the top guilds getting further ahead while the mid-level guilds kind of dwelled in the mid-levels. And there were what's called feeder guilds. This happened a lot. I was a part of them. Feeder guilds are a fucking nightmare because you get stuck. It's like walking through mud. You get some really good players that come up through the ranks, join your mid-level guild, and they start doing really well, and they catch the eye of the big guilds. What the big guilds don't do anymore is check World of Logs of other guilds. They don't really do that anymore. Especially with Cross Realm, they expect people to find them. What you are going to start having is some of the big guilds are going to start checking out these mid-level guilds for those superstars, those diamonds in the rough. They all exist. Still there today, the diamonds in the rough. What's missing now is the will of the big guilds to go and actually find them. It used to happen a lot in Vanilla. You would find out who were the diamonds in these mid-level guilds. Because the mid-level guilds have, and you will know them if you're in the mid-level guild, some player who is fucking awesome. You will have them. They will be there. You will have a decent raid and have a player or a couple of players who are dramatically better than everybody else. And you know it. But their motivation to leave is non-existent. It changes when people start whispering them. Hey, do you think you want to come along here? You have the gear level. It's not a case that we can recruit anybody, quickly gear them. It's going to start happening, guys. I am that guy. Look at all these people. I'm that guy. I'm that fucking guy. It's fine. I'm that guy. Yeah, mid-level guilds, especially if some raid comes out that requires X class. That's when it's going to hurt. That's when your next Spine of Deathwing heroic comes out. We need more mages. We need more rogues. That's when it hurts. That's when you get the pinch. Part of the feeling in the Muru video, which I'll talk about in a second, was we did it. We were one of those top guilds. We sought out and we raped and pillaged shamans and warlocks from other guilds, and hunters as well. We did that quite extensively. We did, and that's how the guilds worked. It wasn't a nasty thing to do. That's how we worked. We offered places to good players because we needed them. We needed their class. Didn't matter if we dropped them at the next encounter. We don't want you anymore. Fuck off. Didn't matter. We needed them for this boss. We needed you, so we went out and we found them. Didn't matter if it was Cross Realm. We go and find you, whisper you, say, do you want to try out to be in our guild? We need you. Then that guild gets further and further behind. So, Muru's Naru. Let's talk about the Muru video, why I made that one. I've been doing top 5. It's the third Big Monday video, right? So you're going to get one of these sort of continuously going forward. I've got a couple of variations and ideas for that. I have more ideas than I can shake a stick out of videos I want to make. In fact, the next video, I'm either going to debate putting it on Facebook to let you guys choose, or I'm just going to pick it myself. I think up until next year, I'm going to pick it myself. While I do Way of the Warrior 2, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The next video is actually going to be... No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. But I wanted to make the Muru video because Muru annoys me. It really fucking annoys me. It took me less than 30 seconds to find probably 10 or 12 forum posts boasting about Muru. And it was all, besides 2 people who clearly had never done the encounter. And that really gets on my nerves because people read that stuff, especially newer players. They don't really understand the validity of feats of strength and stuff like that, especially looking at barely any achievement points. A new player might look at 2,000 achievement points and think, well, that guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. And you and I know 2,000 achievement points across all your characters, something ain't right there. It literally took me about 30 seconds. I just typed, I'll tell you what I did. To find the pictures of forum posts, I went onto the WoW forums and I typed Muru. That was all I did. I got pages upon pages upon pages of people going on about Muru. How hard he was, how amazing he was, how wonderful he was. And all I could say to you is, at the time, it was incredibly so much worse. It was so much worse. You couldn't turn your head without somebody talking about fucking Muru. It was really, really annoying. Muru's done this, Muru's done this. I remember distinctly Nihilum leaked a screenshot of having Entropius at 10%. And everybody thought, well, if they've got it to 10%, how have they not killed it yet? Little did we know, especially for us who were just behind, I think we were on Twins at the time, is that 10% on Entropius is still a long way from a fucking kill. Yes, it is. And so everyone was abuzz with Muru. Everyone was talking about it constantly. And you couldn't help but be excited that you are going to face this boss that is being talked about so much. It's like somebody has a copy of Half-Life 3. It's like someone has a copy of Half-Life 3 and won't stop fucking talking about it. And somebody knows somebody who's played it. And all you want to do is fucking play it. You're like, what? You guys keep talking about it all the fucking time. I want to play it. I want to try it out. Alright? That's the thing. If you knew that... It's like Ghost had a copy of Half-Life 3 and he keeps going, dude, this fucking thing's amazing, right? It's really hard. It's pretty tough, but it's fucking amazing. It was absolutely crazy. And it was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere. Even if you didn't want to hear it, you were finding out about Muru. You couldn't help, as a raider, going out to try and find information about Muru. What was this encounter about? Especially if you were one of the raid leaders. Now, I wasn't a raid leader in the guild at the time, but I was someone who would find out this information and have regular raid leader discussions with the main tank. I was the off tank. And so we would talk about stuff like this regularly. And all we could say, we would analyze that screenshot of Nihilum. I mean, crazily analyze a screenshot. One screenshot just to show 10%, we would analyze the fuck out of that. Is there any information in the combat log that we can see? What kind of damage are they taking there? What's wiped them? What can we see in the background? And more importantly, what is their raid setup? That's what we need to know. What is their raid setup? And then we would go, why have they got 5 Shamans and 5 Warlocks? What the fuck is going on there? And we would look at our roster and say, well, we've got 4 Shamans and 3 Warlocks. I think we had 3 at the time. We don't have that setup. But if they have 5 of 2 classes, then there's something important about those classes. So we would start recruiting for Muru. Before we'd killed Twins, we started recruiting for Muru because of that fucking screenshot. We would be recruiting actively for it. It was, ugh. And then you face that fucking fight, man. And it's dog shit. Worst experience ever. I got told by somebody who had taken part in a Muru encounter. We had a friend. This is what I'm saying, friend of a friend. One of the players, he was called Bananine, was a player in Nihilum. He was a Resto Shaman. And he played in a web cafe in Greece with one of our players. One of our players was also in the same web cafe as him. And he had said tanking is one of the hardest aspects of Muru. Which was like, shit. So I was almost in fear. Erebus, being a complete badass, was like, I don't, you know, these players only have this, his words, these players only have the same amount of fingers as I do, so it can't be that hard. And I'm like, yeah, but what if I fuck up? I don't want to fuck up. I've been pretty baller till now. I don't want to fuck up. So we then killed the Twins, which was awesome. Great feeling. Great encounter to defeat. And we went on to clear the trash, and we're stood in front of Muru. And I'm looking... I remember distinctly crawling up that path that leads to Muru, thinking, oh, it's in there? I thought it was trash room. I did. I genuinely thought this is just another trash room. I'm looking inside, and I was like, oh, there's Muru. Kind of a nice thing, not to know where the boss is sometimes. That was kind of cool. So we're looking at it, and it's like, oh, that's Muru. Is that floating thing? I'm like, oh, okay. And then we start developing a strategy based on what we knew. He said we needed a group over there, a group over here. Let's pull it and find out. There was obviously no videos out. We were very cutting edge. So there's no content that we could relate to or anything like that. So off we go. We pull Muru. And then the ads come. And I was like, oh, the ads come through there. And I was given the far corner to tank. And I was like, okay. So I tanked them. And I had no problem with it whatsoever. And I was like... okay, there must be something else to it, right? So I tanked the fucking mobs. Then there was like these tricky aspects, like disarm and spell reflect. I was like, are you kidding me? Disarm his spell reflect? As somebody who was as into tanking as I was, I really didn't fucking have any trouble with Muru tanking whatsoever. I was like, this is fucking dog shit. This whole fight is dog shit. And we tried it, and we wiped all night endlessly on trash. We weren't pulling enough DPS. We didn't dispel one of the fucking skulls. One of the Void Sentinels got away. I was tanking Void Sentinels, blah, 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 backwards and fucking forwards. I was constantly tanking it. I was bored to fucking death, right? I've never been so disappointed. My dick went from that to that so damn quickly. Oh my god. And it's annoyed me ever since. It's annoyed me ever since. It really did. So I had to make a video about it. And sometimes I'm just going to make a video where something pisses me off. I'm going to make a video about it. Why not? It's my channel, right? That's what I'm going to do. The last topic I wanted to touch on before I take any questions was something we talked about yesterday, actually, on the live stream before we did the daily. It was my topic for the daily. I like sometimes when I check a post by Blizz and see some sort of crazy fucking thing that makes me go, what? So some of you will know what I'm going to talk about right now. But they're nerfing LFR. Yeah. They're nerfing LFR. Oh, man. Like, what? Like, really? I read this and I was like, what the fuck? Right? What the shit is this? They're nerfing LFR? And I was like, I don't fucking believe what I'm reading right now. I couldn't get it into my fucking head. They're nerfing LFR. What they're doing is this, and it works in a couple of ways that's worthy of discussion, is they complained, lots of players complained because they removed the warning that you used to get before you entered LFR as to how many bosses were dead. Which we talked about, and I kind of expressed my opinion that I don't want to join a group that can't kill a boss in LFR, right? I fucking do not want to do that. There is a reason that that keeps getting skipped. People do not want to join an LFR that can't kill a boss, because that is a really bad group. There's no other fucking answer to that, right? If the group hasn't been able to kill a boss in LFR, they're a really fucking bad bad group. That's terrible. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do it. It's not my problem. Selfish as that may be, it is not my problem to try and carry people through very, very easy content. It really isn't. But I can understand that from Blizzard's point of view, there's a lot of people getting stuck in this circle jerk with no motivation to help them get better. That's the problem. They're not motivated to get better because hopefully Joe Knobhead will join the group and then they'll kill it for us because we don't really know why we're wiping. Most people who wipe in LFR don't really understand why. It's easy on bosses like Elagon. He fell through the floor, right? That's why he wipes. It's a very simple, easy solution to a lot of people who don't really understand the game. I'm not moaning at these people. I want to get it completely clear. I'm not saying these guys are just atrocious dribblers. That's not the case. But if you don't understand the mechanics of the game, wiping can either feel like I wasn't healed enough. Pretty easy to say that. If you don't understand the specifics of an encounter, it's very easy to say we wiped because the healers failed, our tanks failed. It certainly won't put the blame on them. They may consider for a moment that maybe I didn't do something correctly, but I can see my name on the damage meter, therefore I'm doing my job. My job here is to DPS. Hell, my role sign-up is tank, DPS or healer. If I die, and it's not through falling through a floor, then probably I wasn't healed enough. That seems like a simple solution. Not I was stood in slightly the wrong place and I got hit by a cleave mechanic. Something along those lines that maybe I would say, oh, you got cleaved. It happens in normal raids all the time. I'm sure you've seen people get the blame for a wipe, whereas some of you who know a little bit more about the encounter will know that's not what caused that wipe. There was several situations that occurred which weren't dealt with that led to this wipe. Yes, on the face of it, you could say maybe if we healed more, they would live longer. Pretty sure that's the case. But we know that's not really the case. So what they said was, when a group falls apart, okay, so you've wiped on some boss, Will of the Emperor, let's say, and people leave. Let's say 10 people leave, and you've now got 15 people who are just going to stick it out. Some of them are going to be good players. I've done this. I have been through, what, 7 or 8 groups on Madness of Deathwing. Several times. It doesn't bother me. There's someone who's been through hundreds of wipes on fucking Muru staring at a wall. A couple of wipes in LFR doesn't bother me at all. So I will be top of the damage most of the time by a long margin. That's okay. I don't mind. I'm not trying to impress. I just try my hardest every time I'm in any sort of dungeon. I always do that. That's just part of who I am. I can see some people slack off. I'm in LFR, I'll let everybody else do the work. I like to try my hardest and always be pushing myself. That's just the way I like to do it. So if an LFR wipes on Madness of Deathwing for whatever reason, they didn't kill tentacles, they didn't single target, blah, 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 I will happily stick around for quite a long time. At least 7 or 8 group swaps is no problem to me. I really don't give a shit. So this group will be consisted of people like myself. There's 15 remaining players. Probably a vast majority of people who don't really know why they wiped. Everybody else must have sucked. Now we've kicked those people, although no kick button appeared. They've all left. We're going to be in good times. Or it's players who are still learning the game and just expect wipes. All they've known is that on Madness of Deathwings you wipe a few times. That's pretty normal for those guys. It is. That's the way you've got to look at it. We always wipe on Madness of Deathwing in LFR. It's normal behaviour as far as they're concerned. So there's a big mishmash of people left. What they're going to do is start giving everybody who's left a buff, and the people who join the group a buff, which will boost your stats, strength, intellect, stamina, that kind of thing. They're going to start buffing you if you join the group. So when you do join a group that is mid-progress, you are going to gain a buff, which is going to boost your stats, make you stronger, more powerful. The first gut reaction to this is, do Blizzard believe that people are wiping in LFR because their stats aren't strong enough, because of gear? That is your first gut reaction. Why would the boosting the stats help this group succeed? Why would that happen? There's certainly an incentive for players who join mid-group to say, well, at least I'm buffed, whatever. But if you've wiped in LFR, the chances of it being down to gear or stats is very, very minor. So after the gut reaction that that's why, you then start to think, well, that can't be the case, and Blizzard aren't that stupid. They're really not that stupid. What this is actually doing is actually pretty clever. It's actually pretty fucking clever what the plan is here. They're putting more pressure on those of you who know how to play the game. That's what they're actually fucking doing. It's not trying to... Because we've all discussed in the past, I don't give a shit if you give the worst, elitist, asshole player in the world every bit of gear in this game, he will still suck. Boosting the stats of people who are doing bad DPS may increase their DPS passively, but they are still going to suck, and they're still going to die to the various abilities. That is going to happen as they learn to play the game. They're still going to suck. What this is actually intended to do is give the good players stronger ability to carry the LFR and get it defeated. That's the plan here. That is the only logical solution, is that they're actually saying, hey, look, we'll buff you. We need good players to actually get through LFR. We do. We need at least a few good players to actually be able to defeat this content, because some players are that bad that they cannot cope with LFR. That's true. So that is a way of doing things. Good players are going to be able to account for... Maybe you're already accounting for sort of 3 times the DPS of some people. Some of you have grown with my channel and have sort of learned and grown with it. There's a load of people who've joined my channel who have barely done anything and are now leading raids, raiding regularly and doing so on. So you're probably doing at least 3 or 4 times the potential efficiency of your class now. You guys know that sometimes in LFR, you're doing maybe 2 or 3 times as much DPS as somebody else in that raid, who is of equal gear. Happens all the time. We're not surprised by that anymore. That's normal. It's pretty normal in LFR for some of you guys to be kicking ass compared to the earlier guys. That's what's going to happen. You can kind of see maybe that was you previously, and through over the last year or so, you've grown along with that and come up ahead. What's now going to happen is you guys are now going to be more responsible than ever, and probably accounting, depending on how powerful this buff is, for maybe 4 or 5 people. Depending on how powerful this buff is, you will actually be responsible for 4 or 5 people, depending on how powerful it is. And if this buff stacks, if you wipe again, do you get a further buff to buff you even more? So what they're saying is, we're aware this group wiped. It's very clever. It's actually a very, very clever, elegant solution. We're aware that this group wiped in LFR, not because of stats, but because they cannot do it. Okay, we're aware of that. But there has got to be some of you in there that knows what to do. We're buffing you. We are buffing you. Get this group complete, because there are too many failed LFRs. It is the only way to deal with this situation, is to buff the good players, to literally discount all the bad players there. So I really want to see what your thoughts are on this. I'm keeping an eye on the chat very quickly, and some of you are like, I like this change. I like this change. I am more than happy as a good player to demolish this fight. So essentially, you might even be turning LFR into a sort of 5 or 6 man content, really, with a load of other people there. So I really want to see your feedback, some discussion going on the YouTube video of what your gut instinct is. Because I'm sure your gut instinct was the same as mine. Like, what are you nerfing LFR for? It's an indirect nerf, but a nerf nonetheless. Surely you don't believe these people are wiping because of gear or stats or damage or healing. The healing and all that, there's something else going on there. What they're actually doing, in my opinion, is saying, good players, here, thanks for sticking with it, thanks for joining this endgame group, here's a big buff to get you guys through it, and on the way, you're going to help these guys get the content done. There is a very obvious downside of this that you should bear in mind with your discussion, is this again, is not helping the weaker players. Wiping is a good thing for weaker players. It is. Hopefully, there's some people who can't learn. We've discussed that on a number of occasions. There's some people who either don't want to learn, can't learn, or just believe that everyone else around them fucking sucks and that's why they're failing, and refuse to accept that maybe there's something for them to do. It's the old syndrome, everybody I meet is an asshole. It's more than likely you're the asshole, right? Not everybody you meet in everyday situations or even in WoW is going to be an asshole. But if you keep getting treated like an asshole, it's probably you. It's one of those moments, right? People don't accept that kind of thing. If I'm always wiping an LFR, perhaps I'm actually contributing to why they're wiping all the time. This time they're saying, okay, we need you to get you through this content. Let's buff the good players. They should be able to get you through it, get your LFR complete. That should be cool. We'll get a ton more LFR completes instead of lots of groups with 3 out of 4 killed, just dottering around waiting for players, all that kind of stuff. It should be good. Alright? It's a good solution, but the weaker players are not going to learn from this. It doesn't. If they're getting carried by super powerful players all the time, what inspiration, what motivation, what reason? Forget inspiration, forget motivation. What possible reason do you have to get better at this game and enjoy it more? I always say, I don't care how many people tell me this is just a game. I always believe you are having more fun if you are owning the tanking, owning the DPS, and kicking ass at healing and defeating encounters than you are languishing at the bottom of the DPS saying it's just a game, the rest of you take it too seriously. Seriously. I fucking hate that. I really hate people like, oh, it's just a game. I don't mind if I spec into fucking... I don't mind if I'm elemental and I'm healing the group and it's all going fucking pear-shaped and my group always failed. I'm having fun. I'm sure you would have more fun if you were raping the DPS, kicking ass at tanking, and kicking ass at healing. You would, and you know you would. You would have far better time. You would have a much, let's put it in simple terms, if you're playing Blops 2, if you're playing Blops 2, do you have more fun when you're raping the fucking scoreboard, or do you have more fun with your back watching that respawn counter? Answer me that question, and then the answer will come to you. Fucking easy, right? Fucking easy situation. The just a game excuse is just that. It's just an excuse. So, I want to see your comments on that stuff. Any questions before I disappear? Any questions before I disappear? I'm going to the gym this evening. Oh! Although it is -4 outside. And yes, look, right? I know... I just want to say, I know that in some parts of the world it is colder. I get that. It still doesn't mean it's not fucking really cold outside. I'm understanding that some of you live in parts of the world that are colder. I get it, right? I really get it. You don't need to say, oh, it's -60 in my underpants right now in fucking Greenland or whatever. I get it. I get it. Oh, what are we doing? The fuck is a blop? It's Black Ops 2. Come on. -4. No snow yet. Apparently it's going to snow on Sunday. And we'll film wherever Emma is taking me. It's my birthday this weekend. I'm going to be older. I'm going to be older. But, yeah, it's my birthday this weekend. Emma's taking me away on Sunday for a surprise place to visit that also features the dog. So it could get kinky. Could get kinky. It's not my birthday yet. Wish me happy birthday at the live show. Do that. Okay. Any questions? Look at everybody spamming the fucking temperature. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop spamming the temperature. I don't care. It's -48 in Sweden. I don't care, right? It's -4 outside. I have to walk in it. It's fucking cold enough. So please. Oh, in fact, our supplier, t-shirt supplier, is on right now. So this is literally open to all you guys. There's a 30-minute window before he sends everything out. He's just posted there's a 30-minute window. GED Systems in the chat is actually our t-shirt guy. If you need a t-shirt, you have 30 minutes left apparently, so I take it all back. That's close. My birthday's the 18th. Nice. Mine's the 17th. So I'm not exactly sure what date it falls on. Let me check here. It's actually on the Monday, but I'll be working Monday. Want to grow a beard? I'll do next year's Movember. How's that? And you'll see something pretty disgusting, because my facial hair grows really fast. Do you even lift? Oh, and also thank you to Pones, who sent me Dota 2 on Steam. That means I kind of have to play it now, right? You guys have been moaning about playing fucking Dota 2 for a while now, so he sent it me, so I will install it. So thank you very much for that gift of a game on Steam. Hopefully it won't take up my entire life, but I will give it a play. I'll probably live stream it so you guys can help me out. I haven't played any of the Dota heroes, any of the Dota 2 heroes anyway. I haven't played any of those, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. The fuck is Dota 2? Dota 2 not free? I don't think so. I got it gifted. I haven't checked. I didn't plan on buying it. What do you hear about Blizzard said the 5.2 raid area the size of Ulduar? They said it's going to be Ulduar-esque. I did talk about this in another daily. I think they shouldn't relate it to older instances, because that's never worked out well, to be honest. Because either it means Ulduar-sized, which is cool, no problem with it being Ulduar-sized, but Ulduar has its own legacy in terms of how amazing it was. And when you start throwing around names like Ulduar, people don't think about it in terms of the raid size, because there are a lot of big raid sizes out there. There's AQ40, there's Naxx, there's Ulduar especially, and ICC. There's all these huge raids out there. I would be very wary about them throwing out names like Ulduar. We'll wait and see. I'm not going to prejudge it till I see it. I'll prejudge it when I see it. Hopefully I'll get back into raiding by then. Guess what? It's actually Ulduar scaled up to 90. That would be awesome. Don't you think it'd be better if WoW showed the mechanics of the bosses in a cutscene or something? Going to a raid that I don't know means I need to research it on other sites. No. Not at all, actually. No, I don't. I'm completely against any sort of pre-knowledge. Genuinely am, and always have been. Before a boss... the last time I extensively researched bosses before I tried them was TBC. That was the last time I will do that, and I will never go back to doing that. I used to extensively find out, watch every video, learn as much about a boss before I actually got to it, to feel a bit comfortable about it. I stopped doing that around Wrath of the Lich King time. Didn't matter what guild I was in, whether I was in KCL, whether I was in Darkstorm, whether I was in Method. I was not going to read the Dungeon Journal. Not after the first pull. After the first pull, I will happily read it. But before the first pull, I'm not doing it. I want to... There's only one time you get to experience what a boss is like fresh. You get to do that once. Ever. You only get to do that once. Ever. Why spoil that, really? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why you want to do that. I want to see what happens, and I like doing things. I'm a nerd, right? Fucking hell, we're all nerds. We're talking about fucking Warcraft every day. We're all nerds, right? I like doing super nerdy stuff. Watch any of my beta videos where I try out the new dungeons. In fact, the best example ever is the End Time Heroics. The 3 new Heroics that came in 4 point whatever. I did a video on the beta of me going into those dungeons for the first time. I love mousing over spell debuffs. I love reading what spells are being cast. I love doing that stuff. What is this guy actually doing? I love doing that. I find out myself. When I went into Temple of the Jade Serpent, the last boss, the Shah of Anger, whatever the fuck his name is, and he cast that debuff, I was instantly mousing over it, and it says, ooh, magic, and it does this. I know what that spell actually does. I don't need some arsehole to tell me you must dispel the debuff in this dungeon. Okay, magic debuff dispel. I read it, I'm like, oh, that does that, and it actually AoEs people around him too. So if we gather up, this is really dangerous. Yes, I still straight up dispel it, but I understand the fight now. I understand what's going on. I love doing that. I mouse over things. I learn what's going on. I love reading talents. After the first pull, I'll gladly read the Dungeon Journal. I've got my first taste of the boss. Now it's time to do the learning process. But for the first time, when you approach that boss, I kind of want to go, he looks mean. I don't need someone showing me a video, this boss is really easy. I'll find that out in myself in due course. What I want to do is experience that first time ever. Should there be a trailer? Yes. There should be a trailer. They did a trailer for Naxxramas. It was fucking awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I believe they also did a trailer for the Black Temple showing the bosses. I loved that. I absolutely fucking loved that because I remember seeing Gurtok Blood Boil and going, ooh, what the fuck does he do? And then seeing Mother Sharaz and was like, wow, what the fuck does she do? All this kind of stuff that looks really weird. And then I saw Rakama with the fucking generating the stuff. I was like, oh, that is so cool. I want to know what that fight does. It just intrigues me. It motivates me even more to get in there and get to see what's going on. Seeing Supremus for the first time, that's Supremus is fucking dog shit, right? Supremus is hashtag dog shit all over that fucking instance. What a terrible fucking raid boss. If you wipe on Supremus, you fucking suck. Seriously. The Supremus was just like a gift boss. I talked about this in the other video. It was like gift bosses. We had fucking Nagentus, gift boss. All you have to do is pick up a fucking cone and right click the boss. Hard mode, fucking Rage Winter Chill. Seriously, give me a fucking break. Supremus was even worse. He was even easier than those things. But I'll tell you what, Supremus looks fucking incredible. Supremus looks amazing. And when I saw the picture of Supremus, I don't care how easy that fight is, he looks fucking cool. And I could not wait to try Supremus. My disappointment comes afterwards, but up until that point, I'm excited and can't fucking wait to try him. And that's something you don't get all the time. If I would have gone, hey, you seen the Supremus guy? And then read about it, and like, Supremus is actually a very easy boss. He just does volcanoes on the floor. They're very easy to avoid. You have to tank him and stand near the boss. It's not very easy at all. I would have been like, oh. But instead, I just saw a picture of him in the trailer, and I thought, wow, that dude looks fucking amazing. That dude looks so cool. I can't wait to try it. Let me enjoy my childish enjoyment for as long as possible. I'll find out soon enough that he's a troll boss, and then when that time comes when your guild, decked out in tier 6, farming Illidan, wipes on Supremus, then I'll cry my eyes out. But until that point, let me fucking pull it for the first time on my own, and let me enjoy it. So fucking cool. Karzan is the best, hardest boss ever. Any other questions before I go? I've got like 9 minutes before I go to the gym. The ICC cinematic. I didn't get much of a boner for the ICC cinematic. Only Morrigar looks hardcore, really. The rest of them don't look as cool. There was a lot of Blelfs. There was a loot ship. There was an orc. They all look like normal guys. Nothing like fucking Supremus. Give me a fucking break. Supremus? Awesome. But yeah, definitely ICC didn't tickle me. Besides Morrigar looked really fucking good. He looked awesome. But everything else kind of looked shit. Same with the Firelands one. Was not impressed. Giant Spider, seen it before. Guy who looks like Shanox, seen it before. Oh, in fact, he was Shanox, right? He looks like Major Domo, seen that before. Rylith just looks like Supremus, seen that before. It was all that kind of stuff. Ulduar, though, Colagarn, he looked fucking awesome. He looked seriously fucking badass. XT, are you kidding me? Even in yesterday's video, the big video, XT, are you fucking kidding me? Who did not want to fight XT? That fucking boss is legit, man. He's fucking so good. That shit is awesome. Algalon looks amazing. Mimiron looks fucking amazing. Freya looks like shit. Hoda looks like shit. Thorim looks like shit. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter because there's a couple of bosses in there I can't wait to fight. I don't care if they're at the beginning, the middle, or the end. I can't wait to fight them. I can't wait to do XT. I can't wait to do Mimiron. I can't wait to do all those fucking things. XT is genius, man. My personal plan concerning raiding. I want to see... probably in January now. I'm just so busy over December. It's not even a fucking option. Seriously, it's not an option. I'm so fucking busy until like January 10th probably. Then I'm going to try and get back into raiding. That's when I'm going to try and do it. As of right now. Could change. But as of right now, December is a no-go to even consider it. It's like the 12th already. I've got like 20 days or 18 days to get the fucking Way of the Warrior 2 complete. I'm just too fucking busy. I'm too busy. And if the January looks as good as it might be, then I might have to stick it out for a little while longer. But I want to get back into raiding. I want to get into actually playing WoW a lot more than I am doing. I'm doing quite a few instances. I'm playing other people's characters. God knows how many Valor points I've earned for random people recently. But I want to get back onto my own account and settle in and get some ass kicking done. That's what I want to do. Officer ran guild versus GM ran guild. Never. A guild is not a democracy. Rule number one. Rule number one I found out in Kill Count Lost. A guild is not a democracy. Never will be. Never should be. Guild is not a democracy. Democracy causes bad things inside guilds. You need a guy who is the be-all and end-all decision maker, and he says yes or he says no. That is a good thing to have in a guild. Some people won't like it, fucking leave. A guild is not a democracy. It should never be run as a democracy. Everybody's going to have their own say. No. No. You know why? Because a lot of people have stupid, selfish fucking attitudes. Yes, they do. Even the best players in the world have stupid, selfish fucking attitudes. You need a good, grounded person in charge, and he is in charge. That's it. You can have his say all you want. He doesn't have to follow it. It's not a democracy. Not a fucking democracy. Never will be. Officer-run guilds. Doesn't matter how many officers you have or how much you trust them. They will favour friends. They will do all sorts of other stuff. A good leader looks to their opinion and then makes his own decision based on that. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Nothing more to it at all. But you need a good leader. So you need a good leader, a good grounded leader. That's the hard part. Some people are saying Caesar. Yeah, you need a good leader too. But it's hard to find a very, very good leader, especially someone strong enough to tell people to fuck off. And your guild leader should never be a raid leader. If you want my basic outline of running a guild, you should have some officers who are trusted, a guild leader who deals with all the day-to-day crap, running the guild, recruiting people, and a raid leader who does just that, and he does it very, very fucking well. He doesn't care if you don't have the classes. He tells you what classes he needs. He tells you the raid setup he needs. That is up to the officers and the guild master to deal with. If you have a personal issue, you don't talk to the raid leader. His job is to get you from boss A to boss fucking Z as quickly and as efficiently as humanly fucking possible. That's what your raid leader does. That's it. He doesn't run your guild. Okay. Alright, ballers. I'm going. I'll see you tomorrow. Thursday tomorrow, isn't it? Awesome. Thursday will be the last. Tomorrow will be the last serious sort of talking day about WoW stuff. Hopefully going over your opinions on the changes to LFR and stuff like that. So please post your comments on the YouTube video. Friday, of course, is Drama Friday. And then, of course, you've got Saturday web show. It's going to be good. Take it easy, ballers. Have a great day.